Hey guys, we're gonna talk about three movies, two of which being books. I don't know if the third one is a book, but I know all three of them are definitely movies that we read / watched in class. And I'm going to take these three totally different movies and bring them all together and tell you how they're all the same in their own, in a way. So I'm gonna do them in order of date they took place. Not the date it came out, but the date they took place. So the movies are The Crucible, Fruitvale Station, and The Hate U Give. So I'm going to start with The Crucible, which took place in the 1600s, around the time with the Salem witch trials and all. It's about pretty much the Salem witch trials and, killing all the witches and I don't think they actually ever found an actual witch. I think they were all just kind of something weird happened. Oh, she's a witch. Oh, that fire got bigger when she walked by. Witch. Oh, lightning started when she showed up. Witch. Stupid reasons make them a witch. Make them against the church. Make them possessed. At this time, everybody's very Christian, Catholic, very God, you know what I mean? Very God is almighty. There's no Satanist, there's none of that. Otherwise, he'd be a witch. So, in the movie, a married man named John Proctor decides to have an affair with a girl named Abigail Williams, who she's not a kid, but she's younger, a lot younger than him. And when he decides to break off the affair and, stay faithful to his wife, Abigail does not like that. So she wants him back. She tries to do a bunch of things, and she hears about the witches that are in Boston, and she kind of takes that and uses that to her advantage. So she leads the other local girls to oh, I'm possessed, oh this, oh that, faking, none of it's actually true. And she convinces all the local girls to kind of put a death wish on John's wife. Oh, if I kill the wife, then he'll have no choice but to be with me, kind of thing. Which is kind of smart, but it has its holes. So they go in the woods and they try to dance around a fire. They try to do this whole ritual to pretty much put a death wish on the wife, but it doesn't work. So when people start finding out about the ritual, they're coming at her oh, you're a witch, oh, you're a witch, and people keep accusing her of being a witch. And as time goes on, they'll fake more and more about being a witch. And it's a long movie about, Abigail faking, oh, I'm possessed, oh, I saw this person do this spell, oh, she stabbed her with her voodoo doll. All different kinds of crazy stuff. You begin to hate Abigail, a lot, because she took it a little too far. Because, dancing in the woods around a fire trying to get a death wish isn't fun. So, John and his wife both end up going on to be, killed because they're witches. And, the wife is pregnant with John's kid. So she is not going to get, hung, at the same time he is. He's gonna go first, she's gonna have the kid, gonna have to, take care of it for a little while, and then she's gonna get killed. And he ends up, trying to save his name. Hold on. He ends up trying to protect his name, So instead of admitting he was a witch, even though he wasn't, but if you admit you're a witch, you don't get killed. Which is weird because you think like, oh, they admitted they're not a witch. But if you admit you're a witch, you don't get killed. So he didn't want to do that to his name, so he wouldn't admit it. And I hate that the door's open. Sorry, Miss Vane. So, he wants to keep his name. He wants to keep what he knows is right to himself. He doesn't want to die. He'd rather die being a truthful man than lie and live. Because if he lives, then everyone's gonna be like, oh, he's a witch. Oh, he's a witch. So he decides to continue to tell the truth, which everyone doesn't think is the truth, but it is, and he ends up getting hung. So that's the gist of that movie. The second one takes place in around 2006. It is called Fruitvale Station. It is about a guy named Oscar Grant, and he lives in like a rough part of town. A lot of like gun violence happens there. A lot of like people get shot and killed. A lot of people get stabbed and killed. A lot of people die in that area. It's a ghetto area. So I'm sorry, people keep walking by. He ends up going out one night with his girlfriend, and the kids end up staying with the grandma, and she's like, oh, don't drive, you're gonna get drunk, we don't want you to drive drunk, take the train. Which is good intentions, and it's a good idea because driving drunk isn't safe, so take a train and, you know, but he ends up, it's New Year's Eve, they're gonna go celebrate the new year, and they get off the train. It's him, his girlfriend, and a couple friends. They get off the train. Now they're all African American, they're all dark skinned, and when they get off the train, one of his friends starts like causing issues, and a cop comes, and his friend like has something that the cops can't see. So Oscar continues to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and basically like antagonize the officers. So the officers put him on the ground and put him in handcuffs, and then they end up shooting him and killing him. Now, a lot of people argue about it because he was in handcuffs. Like, what is he gonna do when he's on the ground face down in handcuffs? Like, get up and punch someone? Like, you can't. Like, I don't even think you can get up if you're on the ground, handcuffed, you know. But he shot him anyways. And it had a lot of protests and violence because a white police ended up like shooting and killing a black unarmed person who, again, was on his stomach handcuffed. Like, there was nothing he could do to attack that cop. The only thing the cop had to do was like handcuff him, put him on his stomach, and the cops shouldn't have to worry about him doing anything. Yet he decided to handcuff him, put him on his stomach, and shoot him anyways. So that brought in a lot of violence. Like, what was he gonna do? Like, why would you shoot and kill him? So then, there was a lot of violence, there was a lot of angry protests. They were gonna be peaceful and just kind of turned to the worst because, you know, that is very aggravating. Like, that man was killed for an innocent man was killed for no reason. He wasn't doing anything wrong. Well, he was antagonizing, but like, there was nothing he could have done to hurt that cop once he was on the ground handcuffed, and he decided to shoot him anyways. So a lot of stuff went around like, oh, it's racist, or this, or that. And in 2006, you think like the racism would be gone and all that. So that's Fruitvale Station. And then in the third and final movie, we watched The Hate U Give, which is the one that just came out, I think, in 2018. It takes place in like 2017 to like now. And it's about a girl named Star. And she is 16 or 17. She's a teenager. And she lives also in the rough part of town. She lives in Garden Heights. And it's like the rough area, a lot of gang violence, a lot of drug lords, a lot of people getting killed all the time. So her mom ended up enrolling her and her two brothers into like a prep school so that they can be safe and go to school, and because the schools there are not very good. So Star has this like, she's like, this is my school me and then my home me are two different people, because she doesn't want them to mix. She doesn't want the white school to like see her ghetto side, is what she says. Like, they cannot see my ghetto, is what she would say. And she ended up one weekend going with her like half sister to, not really her half sister, kind of her sister, to a party in Garden Heights, because during spring break they always have this like big party. And she ran into an old friend that she has not seen in a while, but him and Star, Khalil was his name, Khalil and Star and this girl Natalie used to always hang out. Natalie at one point when they were younger got shot and killed as well. So now Khalil and Star are seeing each other again for the first time in a long time. They're talking. A fight breaks out between some other people, and bullets are shot. Guns are shot. Everyone tries to run out. So Star ends up leaving with Khalil, and they're in the car and driving, and Khalil isn't doing anything wrong. He's not speeding. He didn't run a stop sign.
Please keep that in the video.
Fine.
Yes.
He didn't do anything wrong. He just was going on his day. But they're in a rough neighborhood, and of course, we're going on his day, but they're in a rough neighborhood, and of course, he must be doing something wrong. So a cop pulls him over, a white cop, and these kids are black. He pulls him over, and Khalil's like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Now, Star was taught at a young age, if you're pulled over, put your hands where they can see them, don't argue, tell them what they want to know, all that stuff. Anything to not get shot. And Khalil was pretty much doing exact opposite of that. He was arguing with the cop. Finally, the cop tells him to get out of the car, and tells him to get out of the car and keep his hands where the cop can see him. So the cop goes back, and Khalil reaches into the car to grab a hairbrush, and the cop shoots him because the cop thought it was a weapon. So Khalil ends up on the ground bleeding. Star comes out of the car, screaming at the cop. The cop's like, where's the weapon? Where's the weapon? Where's the weapon? And then he knows it's the handgun, a hairbrush, and he starts flipping out. And then the cop aims the gun at her and starts screaming. Now, Star hasn't done anything wrong. Star's just like, you killed him, you shot him, you have to do something. And the cop is just, I don't remember his name, it's called 115 because that was his badge number. 115 was just flipping out and aiming the gun at her and screaming at her. She has not done anything wrong. So then the movie goes, Khalil's dying, and the movie goes into kind of like Fruitvale Station is, the protests, and why did the white cop shoot an unarmed, innocent black guy, and when they're interviewing people, they're like, oh, well, did you know if Khalil sold drugs? Did you know that Khalil sold drugs? Khalil sold drugs. Okay. And people are like, well, what does that have to do with him being shot and killed? That has nothing to do with the cop coming up and shooting him. And it kind of brings in people trying to have a peaceful protest, and it's just turning violent, and so much stuff is going on, and Star kind of just wants to stay to herself. She doesn't want anyone to know she's a witness, and she doesn't want to talk to anyone about it, really. So finally, she decides to stand up, and she goes, like, kind of on TV, and she has her face blurred, and now, if I did this in my face, you can still tell who I am.
Ah, what is it?
It's my project.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. She went on TV and she kind of like, they blurred her face and changed her voice a little bit, but everyone still knew it was her. And at that point, people started like questioning her, like, are you a witness? Are you a witness? And the joke was because she spoke about them, started threatening her, started threatening the family. And they all just trying to get her justice for Claire because, again, an innocent, unarmed black male was shot and killed by a white cop. So, that is The Hate You Give. Now, all three of the movies kind of go hand in hand, and they're, like, all completely different movies, except, like, Fruitvale Station and The Hate You Give are kind of similar, just in, like, different time areas and, like, with a younger guy and different stuff like that.
Well, you said you too.
And they all kind of just, like, go together in a certain way, even though the Crucible can relate to Fruitvale Station and The Hate You Give. My feet are going down. And The Hate You Give because it's people trying to, they're like accusing people of doing wrong, and people are just trying to stand up for what they know and, you know, protect their name, protect what they know they are and what they know happened. And like John Proctor, he did not want to say he was a witch because he knows he's not a witch, so he'd rather die than lie about being a witch. People protesting for Oscar, they know what's right. They know he was unarmed. The cops shot her anyways. Star, she didn't want to tell anyone about anything. She just wanted to live her life, and she ended up standing up for what she knew was right, for what she knew was in her name. And three totally different movies just kind of go hand in hand with people, like the protest, the violence, the killing, accusing people of stuff that isn't true, like accusing people of being witches, accusing the guy for basically shooting him, accusing him for being violent, even though, again, handcuffed, could not, or accused Khalil of being a drug dealer and having a weapon. And they're three totally different movies. Like I said, Fruitvale Station, Hate You Give are similar, but like The Hate You Give and The Crucible, you wouldn't, if you watched them both, you wouldn't think they're anything alike. But they're all about just people trying to defend their name, protect their name, do what they think is right, protesting, violence, death. Like, it's all about like discriminating against people. And you think between the 1600s and even now, the violence would end, and it won't. Like, racism ended in the 1900s, like middle 1900s. Yet there's still hidden racism everywhere. There's still people be like, oh, a black person's violent, so they'll shoot him, and it's crazy because you think like it would stop by now, like we were supposed to come an end to this, there's no more discrimination, yet there's still racism, there's still violence, there's still racism, and like there's still white cops shooting black people for no reason. There's still people saying, oh, you act white, oh, you act black. Well, what does that mean? Like, how do you act white? Oh, well, dressing like this. Well, how is that white? Like, what if a black guy does that? Well, then the black guy's acting white. That does not make sense to me. If I'm white, I'm acting white. Because you can't really act white. If you're white, you're white. If you're black, you're black. You don't act a certain way. You can act ghetto. You can act preppy. But you can't act white or black. Like, why do white people have to do that way? why do black people have to be more ghetto? Like, that does not make any sense to me. Like, you see, people always say, like, black people are more violent. Well, all the school shootings and all the violence, like, crimes we've seen right now with gun violence are usually, like, white people. Like, the Florida shooting was a white guy. So, I don't understand why they're the violent ones. We all can be violent. No certain race is more violent. We all can just all together be violent in our own way. Like, a white girl can shoot up somewhere, a black girl can shoot up somewhere, a white dude can shoot somewhere, and a black dude can shoot somewhere, like Hispanic, whatever. No matter what you are, purple, green, rainbow, I don't care. You can still do violence. You can still grab a gun and cause violence. And the movies show all together, like, whether it was like discriminating against people and like accusing them to be a witch, to discriminating against the black males in the movies and accusing them of being violent and having a weapon. Like, no matter what, you're like discriminating against people and accusing them of stuff that isn't true. Like, right now we sit and we think about the witch trials of, oh, that's crazy, like, why would they think they're witches? Like, that's so stupid. But they don't understand what we're doing now is stupid. Saying that all black people are violent is stupid. Saying that all white people are peppy is stupid. Like, you can act whatever way you want to act. Whatever color, whatever race, whatever gender, whatever sexuality, whatever. You can act just as bad as someone else who's completely different. And on the news, about 2 weeks ago, I was watching the news on Sunday morning, and they were talking about how there was a protest going on because a white cop killed a black male. And it's crazy to think that, like, a movie just touched base on this like a year ago, and it's still happening. The white cop pulled over an unarmed black male and shot him and killed him. And they try to have peaceful protests, and it turns into violence. Like, that sounds just like the hate you give. You think when movies like this come out, people understand, yo, we're doing something wrong. But people don't understand what they're doing is wrong. They just think what's done is being done, and that's the way life is. So, I just wanted to compare the three movies and show you how they all, in a way, are alike. They're all discriminated, they're all people standing up for what they know, they're all people knowing what's right, and people protesting and violence.